Well, guys, I apologize if I sound a little nasally. I am getting over a pretty solid sickness. But something that was even more sick was Dexter Resurrection. And I'm going to talk to you about it today. Now, I want to preference this video by saying that this will contain light spoilers, although the spoilers pertain more towards older seasons rather than this one, but I still want to go ahead and give that disclaimer today. So with that out of the way, a little quick history with me and the Dexter show. I started watching this when I was about 19. I think the show had either just ended or it was like in its final run. And I knew the general premise, a serial killer who hunted serial killers, but overall went in blind. And within the first batch of episodes, I was completely hooked. And by the end of it, became one of my favorite shows. The last episode, however, the series finale was a letdown for me, as it was for most fans. Something that I'm sure no one is entirely surprised by. But when they first announced Dexter New Blood, I was excited. I was like, okay, they had a subpar ending. This is their chance to bring it back, give Dexter a better ending if it was just going to be this one season. And although I ended up not watching the show until I think about a year after it all came out, I enjoyed Dexter New Blood. I didn't think that it was great, though. And unfortunately, I thought that ending was also subpar. I feel like they really just kind of wrapped it up thinking that that was going to be it. And then later on, when they announced the prequel, Dexter Original Sin and Dexter Resurrection, I'm like, okay, we're kind of beating a dead horse here, aren't we? And although I haven't watched Original Sin, as I mentioned, this is going to be for Dexter Resurrection, and I can comfortably say that this is a true return of form for the series. And Dexter Resurrection is some of the, for me, best episodes of the series since probably sometime during the original run. Now, when I say a true return to form for the show, what I mean is that this is the first time in however long I was actually really excited to watch the next episode. Dexter New Blood, it didn't really give me that. And that was what I was afraid of happening with this show. But by the time the end credits came up, I was so quick to play next episode because I waited for the whole season to be out. And this was the most hype I felt for the show since maybe the last couple seasons of the original series. And that's saying a lot, at least for me, especially nowadays in the age of streaming shows. To jump into the positives, I really enjoyed the new batch of characters that we got in the show. It was nice. They kind of did, little cameos, bringing some people back, for the big fans who've been here since the beginning. But the new cast of characters, Peter Dinklage, Kristen Ritter, Neil Patrick Harris, all played very well-crafted and creative roles that I felt fit each of them so perfectly. And speaking of characters, the character of Harrison, Dexter's son, wasn't annoying and cringy like he was in Dexter New Blood. Now, I understand in New Blood, he's supposed to be the angsty teen who obviously he's pissed off at his dad for essentially abandoning him as a child. But by the end of that season, Harrison felt so just excruciating to watch because it got to the point where, we get it. We know you're pissed off. In Resurrection, though, there's character development. We now see him become more of a person rather than just this, young guy who's pissed off at his dad. We see him more independent. And throughout the season, and this might be a bad comparison, but you see a certain dynamic build between he and Dexter where it's almost like a Batman and Robin thing. So it kind of opens the door for, maybe a future spinoff or something where Harrison kind of takes the reins of everything. the story writing and the direction obviously were very, very, very well done. I know that a lot of the creatives from the original show came onto this one to help out, and I think that it really shows. And I can actually comfortably say that for the first time, and once again, I'm excluding Original Sin from all of this because I haven't watched it yet, but this was the first time where when the season ended, if this is like just a one-off thing, this was the first time it had an ending where I'm like, okay, I'm down for that, but if they pick up for another season, I'm tuning in night one. And that's not something that New Blood or even the OG series did. They were both so quick to wrap everything up. And this one felt like there was a little bit more thought put into it. More of the mixed elements, and they're kind of mixed negative in a way. I wasn't the craziest about what they did with the character of Batista. I did like how he was supposed to be like one of Dexter's best friends. Now he's turned into the guy who's chasing Dexter. But we've seen the cat and mouse game plenty of times in the series. And I felt like this was their opportunity to make it something that was a lot more deeper, something that could have affected Dexter emotionally and psychologically way more than they really showed. And I mean, I'll forgive them for that. I still enjoyed the storyline, but like I said, I feel like it didn't fully live up to what it could be. Another thing that I was kind of like mixed negative on was, and I know this might clash with my positive about the new characters, but it's the two new detectives. I don't remember their names. And I felt like they were just written in to be the two cops that are kind of like trailing, all these serial killers. I know that the lead detective, she was supposed to have this like little like quirk where she just listened to the Bee Gees while she did investigative work, and I think that was like supposed to be like partly like a comedic thing, but after a while I was like, okay, like, are you gonna explain why? Are you, even if it's just like an exposition dump, are you gonna give me anything? And it doesn't, and that might work for some people. Didn't really work for me. But, what are you gonna do? To wrap it up, guys, I know that this was a quick one, and I just kind of threw everything at you, but like I said, I'm not feeling too good. My voice keeps going in and out, but I really dug this show, and not too many people are talking about it, and it kind of, makes me a little bit sad, because I think that the mixture of the original series ending plus how New Blood ending, I think that it left a bad taste in a lot of Dexter fans' mouths. But honestly, I would, if you haven't watched this and you're a fan of at least the OG series, give this one a shot. And, just stay through to the ending. Even if it's like the first couple episodes may not hook you, there's a lot of twists, a lot of turns, Michael C. Hall still brings it as Dexter. Always has, always will, no matter how much longer he continues to play the character. But, once again, thank you guys. I know it was quick, but I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and listening to me talk for a few minutes. So, until next time, you guys have a great day.